All right. Just wait for Richard's countdown and then we'll be good to go.
All right. You're live in five, four, three.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Summer Care Package Supporting Students During Summertime webinar. As we get settled and members join, please take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat, write your name, title, organization you represent, and one word that captures the spirit of summer for you. And we will start at 2:03 today. And it's nice to see all of you and share space. Thanks so much. Okay, thank you very much. So I would like to welcome you. My name is Carrie Sucker, and I am the administrator of the Office of School-Based Health Programs under the Whole Child Division, a division that our state superintendent of public instruction, Tony Thurman, created to ensure we were meeting the needs of the whole child. It's great to see so many LEAs joining us to explore effective strategies and resources that help students stay connected, supported, and thriving throughout the summer. Of course, it's important throughout the year. But we also know that access may be limited during the summer months. By supporting our students during this important transition, we continue to strengthen the entire school community. So here's our objectives for today. So we want to introduce accessible summer resources and programs that support student, family, and school staff health and wellness. It is an unreasonable expectation for us to have on our school community staff to take care of the students if we're not doing adequate job of supporting them as well. Provide information on specific summer supports, including recreational opportunities, nutrition assistance, and mental, physical, and emotional health resources. Equip attendees with practical tools and strategies to ensure students and youth remain safe, connected, and supported over the summer break. Reinforce the whole child approach by promoting a holistic support for every child throughout all communities during the summer months. So now I would like to introduce Ms. Sarah Eaton, AGPA with the Office of School-Based Health Program. She's a phenomenal asset and resource to our office and really helps us by providing a Gen Z perspective and has become a leading content expert with the Gen Z perspective. She earned her Bachelor of Arts in English from California State University, Sacramento, Stingers up. Her passion for education and youth advocacy drives her work and informs her approach to policy and program development. Sarah is committed to making a positive impact in her field and continues to work towards advancing the well-being of children through her professional endeavors. Ms. Sarah, will you join me up on the stage? It's not really a stage. Will you come over here, Sarah?
Thank you, Carrie. So as we are thinking about how to keep our students safe, connected, and supported over the summer, we, as the Office of School-Based Health Programs at the California Department of Education, want to share a key resource called Youth Mental Health First Aid. This is a training that is designed for adults who serve the youth, and that is ages 6 to 18. So this is educators, support staff, after-school providers, community partners, parents, guardians, any adult that is serving the youth. And it teaches how to recognize the signs of mental health challenges and respond effectively, whether a young person is facing an everyday stress or experiencing a crisis. Youth mental health first aid trainings are offered year-round in virtual, hybrid, and in-person formats and are provided at no cost thanks to the generous funding of Blue Shield of California Foundation. So as the coordinating Office of School-Based Health Programs manages all the logistics from scheduling the pre-registration to the billing. So it's simple for your school, district, or organization to get started. We've also seen the impact of this training where participants leave feeling more confident in having supportive conversations, expressing concern, and taking action to help young people through difficult times. Because our office likes to remind everyone, every child is one caring adult away from changing their narrative. So to request a training or to learn more about youth mental health first aid, please contact us at the Office of School-Based Health Programs inbox, which is osbhp@cde.ca.gov, or you can fill out the interest form that I will include in the chat. We also have some upcoming trainings that will be available in July that I will share in the chat as well. So I just want to thank you for all that you do for our school communities statewide, and I will have that information shared in the chat shortly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I really think it's a great opportunity and something that may work for your school community. So again, Ms. Lacey Baker will go ahead and drop the information in the chat, and please reach out as you feel needed for assistance. So I have the great honor and privilege to introduce Chief Ryan Skaggs. And I want to be very personal and authentic with all of you. And I know I say it as a former high school principal, I wish I knew of this resource. He is an incredible content expert in supporting the physical and mental, social, emotional health of our school communities. And we were tasked recently with a school community reaching out with a communicable disease outbreak and really looking for guidance. They went to their local health agency and it was now 3 o'clock and they hadn't heard back yet. They reached out to our office, and by calling Ryan and his team, we had probably 12 statewide experts in the room helping and supporting the school communities. And when we met with the superintendent, he said it felt like the Avengers. So Ryan Skaggs is someone you definitely want to know. And he's an incredible resource and support. But a little bit about him, he's a father of two and the program director of the California Department of Public Health Office of School Health, OSH. Since joining OSH, he has led various school health programs and initiatives, including state guidance and policy updates and development of the epinephrine standing order, which is huge. Since starting with CDPH in 2017, he has served in a variety of roles, including strategic planning coordinator, internship coordinator, and program consultant with the CDPH Office of Oral Health. Ryan is a Clinton Global Initiative University Fellow with a background in environmental justice, community organizing, nonprofit management, and HIV client services. Ryan, would you come and join me up here on the stage? Thank you.
Geez, thank you, Carrie. What a warm welcome. Hi, everybody. I'm Ryan. I use he, him pronouns. As Carrie mentioned, I'm the program director of the California Department of Public Health, Office of School Health. Thrilled to be joining you today. Our presentation is called Cool Tips for Hot Summer Days. We all like to think of summer as a time for rest and recovery. But those of us know our summers are getting hotter and hotter. Many schools might be year-round. There's also, opportunities over the summer for schools to plan for the school year ahead. Also some potential for some needs for families and school communities. So hopefully what we have to present today gives you a lot of useful information that you can use and that you can share with families and school communities. So next slide, please. So this is a little bit of our summer care package. As I mentioned, our summer care package has both the resources for you as school administrators, professionals, and other school staff, as well as resources and supports that we would love to encourage you to share with families and the rest of your school communities. So some things that we have here, and we'll have a friend today put some of these links in the chat as well. We have our CDPH Extreme Heat Guidance for Schools. This is a great resource if you will be doing planning over the summer for the next school year, or just planning in general around how to adapt to extreme heat, which, as we know, is becoming more and more common due to the effects of climate change. So we definitely recommend you checking out CDPH's Extreme Heat Guidance. And you'll see on the right, we have some takeaways, some of the key topics you may want to take a look at. So what are the risks of exercising during extreme heat? What can be done to protect students? What is a heat risk forecast? And what are signs of exertional heat-related illness, as well as risks, other proactive steps to be taken, and opportunities to learn more. So definitely recommend you check that out. It's an amazing resource, very accurate and up-to-date science. We'd also like to encourage you to share CDPH resources on tips for preventing heat-related illness and tips for treating heat-related illness. You can take a look at these documents and figure out what makes the most sense on how to share it with families and school communities. One way we recommend is you can share all the tips together, or you can just take a look at some of the tips and cut and paste or select what you think would be most relevant to the families and school communities that you work with. But these are amazing resources. We have links in the chat. We also have customizable communication toolkits that you can utilize, tools around social media, flyers, other resources that you can take a look at and you can adapt to meet the needs of your specific area and school community. We definitely recommend always consulting with your local health department and others in your local area on any concerns or questions that you might have around specific heat-related policies. But we believe CDPH has produced a lot of amazing resources that you can use in your own planning, as well as resources that you can share with families and school communities to help them stay safe and stay cool over the summer. Next slide, please. Yeah, and here's some other resources that you can utilize. So want to make sure that you take a look at, visit Heat Ready California. for local level updates where you can find alerts, cooling centers, and tips to save on energy. We also have an outreach toolkit. As I mentioned, a lot of resources that CDPH has developed are customizable, including social media, flyers, and other resources. But some of these things are really great to share with families and school communities. Definitely over the summer, emergency alerts and cooling centers are incredibly important, and tips to save on energy are definitely a great resource that can help a lot of low-income families in California. And there's a lot of great programs out there that can help folks save money during the warmer months as the air conditioning and cooling will be running more and more. Next slide, please. These are some great resources that are have been developed by the CDC. Not a whole lot here to share with families and school communities, but definitely a lot of great resources that we recommend school professionals to check out. CDC has some great resources and trainings for workers and supervisors around understanding heat-related illnesses. These may help you meet some of your training requirements and mandates as well. Definitely recommend Sun Safety Facts. There's some tips for schools in there. These may help you also develop policies as well as some communications you may have with your school communities. And definitely recommend checking out CDC's resources on school preparedness. A lot of great resources for school administrators and school staff. So we put the links to those in the chat as well. So definitely want to encourage you to check those out. Next slide, please. On this slide, we have a lot of great resources that you can share out with youth sports programs and communities. CIF also has a great free online course called Heat Illness Prevention, which will help your sports programs satisfy the mandated requirements under California law. So CIF has done a great job at developing a lot of sport and exertional heat-related resources. So we're going to go ahead and share those in the chat as well. Definitely recommend that you check those out and share those who you might know who are involved with youth sports or youth sports programs. Next slide, please. So this is us. This is the CDPH Office of School Health. Hopefully some people might be familiar with us. We're formerly known as Safe Schools for All. What we do is we develop and provide scientific guidance and policies. We facilitate collaboration between state and local health and education officials. One of the big ways we do that is we do webinars. If you would like to sign up for our mailing list or attend one of our webinars, please reach out to us at safeschools@cdph.ca.gov, and we'll go ahead and put our contact information in the chat. We are currently on a brief hiatus over the summer from our webinars, but we'll be starting them back up regularly again beginning in August. We're still we'll be sending out weekly email notes, so please sign up for our emails. We also have our School Hub website, which is a one-stop shop for all things school health related. The URL for that is schools.cdph.ca.gov. And that will be put into the chat as well. So done a lot of work supporting school-based and school-linked behavioral health prevention programs. We also continue to support, robust communication network, including webinars, emails, and other convenings. And one of the big things that we've done is develop a standing order for epinephrine that has really helped eliminate a lot of access barriers for this life-saving medication. So please sign up for updates. We have a lot of exciting work coming out, a lot of things that we think can benefit you and your school communities. So want to thank the California Department of Education Office of School-Based Health Programs for giving us some time today. Hopefully we shared some resources that can help you, whether it's for your own planning or for sharing out with families and school communities. Please reach out to us anytime. Any questions you have, we provide technical assistance. So you reach out to our Safe Schools team inbox with any school health concerns. We'll do our best to close the loop on any requests received connect you with the right subject matter experts in the California Department of Public Health on a wide range of health issues, whether it's communicable disease, immunization, behavioral health. It's a great resource for you to reach out to about any questions you might have. So we do our best to respond to all requests received in 2 business days. So please reach out to us, sign up for our emails, sign up for our webinars, and thank you, California Department of Education, for giving us some time today. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Ryan. We really appreciate you being here today and sharing those resources. And we will now transition to our summer nutrition programs and resources. So I would like to introduce Christina Ricci, who is the manager of the Summer Nutrition Programs and Grant Unit in the Nutrition Services Division at CDE, and has been with the department since March 2023. She has a bachelor's degree from California State University, Sacramento, Stingers up. So I would like to welcome Christina.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm looking forward to sharing some information with all of you about summer nutrition program resources for families and children this summer. We can move to the next slide, please. So here at the Department of Education, we oversee and administer 2 summer nutrition programs, and we are also a partner agency with the California Department of Social Services for the Summer EBT or Sunbucks program, which is one of the newest child nutrition programs that the USDA administers. So the first 2 programs you see on the screen are the Seamless Summer Option, SSO, or the Summer Food Service Program, the SFSP. Both of these are 2 different child nutrition programs. The SSO is available only to school districts who participate in the National School Lunch Program and the School Breakfast Program. And it's really a way to have a seamless transition from the school year and the 2 meals per day that every child in California is entitled to continue that operation in the summertime. We know that summer can be a hungry time for students, and so the SSO helps to bridge that gap. The Summer Food Service Program is essentially functions as the same type of program as the SSO. It just allows for other community-based organizations to sponsor the program and provide meals to children who need it. So the SFSP can have sponsors like nonprofit organizations, faith-based organizations, city parks and rec departments, county library systems. You kind of get the intent, really thinking about organizations where kids might be and participating in programs during the summer. And then, as I mentioned, the Summer EBT program, where we are a partner agency with the California Department of Social Services. And I'll share more about Summer EBT in just a couple of slides. We can move to the next slide, please. So talking about summer meal programs, I just wanted to share a little bit of information about where summer meal programs can happen. So really both programs, whether it's SSO or SFSP, essentially function the same at the site level. Summer meal sites are located in communities of need, so they have to be what we call area eligible in order to participate. So the site has to be located in an area where at least 50% or more of the children qualify for free and reduced price meals. To qualify summer meal sites, we can use school data, or we can also use census data. And meals are available to all children ages 18 and under. And the program has no enrollment requirements, and it is free of charge, and anybody can participate. So think about where summer meal sites might be. They can be at schools, libraries, parks, community centers, pools, boys and girls clubs, YMCAs. Really think about any place where kids might be during the summer, and a summer meal site could operate there as long as it's area eligible. And then we also have a new option for rural communities. So we know that summer can also be really challenging for children that live in rural communities to access and have transportation to summer meal sites that might be operating. In 2023, the USDA launched a pilot program to allow for summer meal program sponsors to provide meals in a non-congregate manner, so a grab-and-go manner. This was really kind of a result of the success of having grab-and-go meals during the pandemic for children in rural areas. So we've now for 2 summers have been participating in this non-congregate meal service option, which allows summer meal operators in rural areas to provide multiple days worth of meals to children where we know transportation can be a challenge. Under our non-congregate feeding model, operators can provide up to 10 days worth of breakfast and lunch to kids in the area. They can do meal pickup sites like at a school or, at a community center, or operators also have an option to deliver meals directly to children's homes. So if you are from a rural district or live in a rural community and you're interested in learning more about this option, we encourage you to reach out to us. I'll share some contact information at the end of my presentation, and we'd love to talk with you. In 2023, our first year and the pilot year for the non-congregate option, we had, I think, about 40 summer meal sites participate under non-congregate feeding. And then last summer, we had 160 sites participate in this program. And just at our rural non-congregate sites alone, we served over 1 million meals last summer. So I know that we'll probably beat that number this year, and I'm really excited to hear that just because of the impact that we know that this is going to have for so many children in rural areas. And we can move to the next slide, please. So another great way that you can help support families this summer is by helping spread the word about summer meals. Oftentimes, one of the biggest challenges we face is just a lack of awareness about the summer meal programs. A lot of times our summer meal sites also incorporate enrichment activities or learning opportunities. So it's a really great way for kids to have access to socialization, summer reading programs, while also getting nutritious meals. The Department of Education has a California Meals for Kids mobile app. It's available in every app store. So if you are interested to find out if there's summer meal programs near you, or if you want to provide this resource to any families or children that you work with, we definitely encourage you to do so. I think we put a link in the chat so you can find it on our CDE webpage as well. But if you go to the App Store on your mobile device and search for the California Meals for Kids app, you should be able to find it. You can enable location services or enter in your zip code, and it will tell you the closest summer meal site to you. And it provides all of the details that a family would need to be able to access the summer meal site. And the best part is that it's updated every day. It resets every midnight during the summer season. So you know that it's always the most up-to-date information. Next slide, please. And then lastly, I want to touch a bit on Sunbucks. So Sunbucks is a new program that's available to children across the state. Eligible children will receive up to receive $120 Sunbucks card to buy food at grocery stores, farmers markets, and other authorized retailers. So it works just like the CalFresh benefit, but it does come on a separate card. Children who are directly certified or categorically eligible will automatically receive a Sunbucks card. Next slide, please. But children who qualify or who are only eligible for Sunbucks with free and reduced price meals based on income must apply for Sunbucks benefits. There is a universal benefits application that's available online that has been distributed to LEAs across the state of California. And then we'll drop a link to our Sunbucks webpage as well, so you can get some more information. But they have to complete a UBA by September 2nd in order to be eligible for Sunbucks this year. If an application is submitted between July 1st and September 2nd, that will make those children eligible for both Sunbucks for 2025 and 2026. So again, make sure that if you know of any families who are not categorically eligible or directly certified, to ensure that they are completing an application if they might qualify for Sunbucks, and they have to submit by September 2nd in order to be eligible for this summer. And next slide, please. So thank you again for having me. We know that, summer access to nutrition during the summer plays just such a vital key for children's overall health. And we would love to talk with you. So if you have questions, you're welcome to contact us at any of these inboxes. We'd be happy to chat with anybody that might be in a rural community, especially who's interested in non-congregate meal service. We have two separate contact ways for people to contact us about Sunbucks. So for LEA specific questions, you can contact us at the summer EBT at cde.ca.gov, and that will put you in touch with our team here that can assist you. However, if you have any household inquiries, or if you know of any families that you might work with that has specific questions about their eligibility, or maybe where's my card, or they need to reset their PIN, then please direct them to the Sunbucks helpline, and the phone number is on the screen here. They will be able to better assist that family, because the helpline has access to all of the information that they need to help answer their questions. But thank you again for having me, and thanks everyone for all the great work you do.
Thank you, Christina. And we will be sure that, oh, I see Lacey dropping the links in the chat. These are great resources. And we will go ahead and transition to another division in CDE. So at this time, I would like to introduce Jen Taylor, who is an education programs consultant in the expanded learning division for the CDE. She is currently providing support to expanded learning programs within Sacramento County and the 9 surrounding counties. In addition to coaching programs through the lens of quality, Jen leads the System of Support for Expanding Learning project. The System of Support for Expanded Learning is a statewide network of COEs, County Offices of Education, statewide contracts, and the CDE that provide support to expanded learning programs across California. If you can join Jen, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everybody, for having us. We're excited. Summer is what we do for here in Expanded Learning. So this is actually peak season. So we are excited to be here to help ignite that summer learning, inspire, get kids connected back to, to engaged in learning, and giving them opportunities that they might not necessarily experience, right, during summer. So next slide, please. What we're going to do is we're going to dive into what is expanded learning. And we actually do have a definition in California Education Code. So we do have a legal definition that we follow. And really, when does it take place? It takes place before school, after school, intersession, which can be Thanksgiving break, winter break, spring break, and of course, summer. Summer is one of our biggest times a year. So we have different opportunities throughout the year. Just wanted to note that, but summer is definitely one of them. And so moving to the next slide of, really what does that include? So with expanded learning, students are provided an opportunity to really experience different things in different ways. It can be academic, social, emotional opportunities, physical needs, whatever it may be. It can be STEAM, theater, martial arts, dance, anime club, speech and debate. I could go on. So there's a lot of different variety that can be included in the what for expanded learning. And then how. So next slide. And that includes really hands-on, engaging opportunities that are student-focused, results-driven, include multiple partners. So, and just like here at the statewide level, we have multiple partners presenting. That can happen definitely at the local level too, among communities in schools, school districts, and communities. And these activities really complement what's happening during the regular school day and the year. So it can be, hands-on Lego robotics. It can be things like, learning how to swim. It can be culinary classes. So there are so many things that can really drive what students want to be focused, what students would like, and what, would like to focus on. So in the design of programs, there are, specific quality standards that really drive the foundation of expanded learning that we follow. Next slide, please. And so here I have on here the quality standards for expanded learning. So when we have schools and districts really designing their expanded learning programs, we really want this to be the foundation in the development of those programs. What does it look like as far as the point of service? So what do students experience? What are they what it brings them value? What really engages them in active engaged learning? How can this look like, as far as healthy meals and healthy choices? So those are some of the design elements, and these are really the lens of how we design with expanded learning. And that also goes back to some of the programmatic elements or program quality elements of making sure, there's quality staffing, making sure there's, collaborative partnerships involved. So there's lots of opportunities from these different lenses for the quality standards and for the design of programs. And so this is what we utilize as far as a lens and design in developing expanded learning programs, at your particular district or site or community, whatever it may be. But as Christina had mentioned in the prior presentation, those meals that are happening at before, for example, maybe in a community like area, like a Boys and Girls Club, are likely happening with expanded learning. So we kind of work amongst all these different partners as well. As far as a lens in learning and providing opportunities for students, we also use the learning and after school principles, which is, really focused on making sure that learning is active, that it is collaborative, that it is meaningful, supports mastery, so those skills, right? Helping students develop skills as well as expands horizons. And, there might be opportunities that students might not necessarily have, during their summer. So bringing in different partners, might have science partners coming in, STEAM partners coming in, might have, we've seen different things like animal, kind of biological sciences. So individuals bringing in those kind of, maybe different lizards and, critters that come in, or even arts, whatever it may be. So really providing those opportunities as well as experiential opportunities, like going on certain field trips or, up to museums, theaters, whatever it may be. So of course, expanding horizons in that way as well. So how does this look in California? Next slide, please. There are different funding, expanded learning funding sources in California. So we have our state-funded programs, which include our after-school education and safety program and expanded learning opportunities program, as well as our federal funds, the 21st Century Community Learning Centers program, which also is for elementary and high school. But today I'm gonna focus a little bit on the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program. Back in 2021, we received a huge investment of, in Expanded Learning Opportunities Program, starting with $1.75 billion. And now we have gone up to about $4 billion in Expanded Learning Opportunities Program. So really seeing this great expansion across the state of California. And next slide, please. So a couple quick facts about the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program. It is, really offers and provides access to expanded learning, which is summer as well, for transitional kindergarten through grade 6 students. During the regular school day or school year, it is for at least 9 hours, so core day plus expanded learning, so a total of 9 hours in person with qualified staff. There are also at least 30 non-school days for no less or no fewer than 9 hours in person. So this is really what we're seeing across the state as far as expanded learning with the 30 non-school days with ELOP. As far as, meals, we heard from nutrition, a snack and or meal must be provided, as well as, the priority for these programs are, really for those students in need. So homeless youth, foster youth, and students eligible for free and reduced price meals. I think I saw a couple of mentions in the chat too about, homeless liaisons, foster youth liaisons, really making sure that these students are prioritized for the program as well. And then attendance is really based on the individual needs of students and their families. It's a little different than our other grant programs, which do have attendance requirements, but with ELOP, it is really based on the needs of the families. So it's a little bit different. So next slide, please. For our frontier program, so for those that have are within an area of fewer than 11 persons per square mile, there's a little bit of a difference as far as the requirements for Expanded Learning Opportunities program. It's no fewer than 8 hours. So that includes for the regular school year, as well as for the 30 non-school days. So a little bit of a difference, for our programs that are, might be a little bit difficult with transportation or different elements for our more rural sites. And next slide, please. So if you are in a school district or you are in a school, you're working, you're developing high quality summer programs. These are just some, maybe kickstart ways to kind of work and start to design that summer programming. Or if you already are operating a program, here are just some, ideas for designing a high quality program and really incorporating, what is that youth voice? What are the students interested in? Are they interested maybe in coding? I've seen video game coding, video editing, cooking, art, basketball, cheer, soccer. So really starting with what do the students want? What do the students need? So really doing kind of analysis of that. The second would be aligning summer goals. So what's already in your plan? What do you have maybe in your local control accountability plan? What's already included in your Expanded Learning Opportunities program plan? So there are already artifacts or resources out there. So really trying to align with those, we don't want to reinvent the wheel, right? So really aligning that piece. Third part is connect and unite with other programs, other partners. So nutrition, early learning, special education, community schools, mental health, a lot of, the partners you see on here on the screen, as well as others as you're kind of going through and designing. A lot of your goals might be very similar to what they have in some of these other programs. And then kind of this fourth tip would be to collaborate with your community partners. See what's happening with local city parks and recreation. There might be other partners in the area that you might want to bring in, even industries. A lot of different business industries might also have different, be a partner in your area, as well as things like local libraries. There's lots of different opportunities for partnering with community partners in the area, and they might be already doing different classes or different opportunities and be willing to invite students in or even to come visit you, whichever it may be. And then next slide, please. And if you are family, if there are parents, guardians, or families on here, you might say, hey, I would love to have my student as part of Expanded Learning Opportunity. Here are just some ideas. We would really, if you start with connecting with your student's principal, start with your school district or charter school, connect with them, try to see what is happening during summer. If you don't have that, or if, let's say, school is out, you might want to look more on the school district's webpage or school's webpage. Social media is a very common one. So checking out social media and just kind of doing a search for different registrations and offerings. A lot of times there's a posted registration or a link that's sent out. We also have available a link to the schools or the school districts, local educational agencies that receive funding. So we have that available if you want to go through and kind of search and say, oh, my child's district does receive this funding. And then one of the biggest resources that I would say, and if you were to save all of the one of the links of all the links we've shared is our system of support for expanded learning. This system is here to support you, and we work, across the state. There's 16 county offices of education that are experts in supporting expanded learning, that know what partners are out in your area, or school districts or schools, and they can get you connected to the school, and are an amazing resource for anybody on this call, whether you're a family or a school district or a county office. The system of support for expanded learning is here to be your resource. So I do have that as, if you were to save one, just make sure to save that one for sure. And so with that, I do have a couple of different resources that are available on the next slide that you can walk away with, including different toolkits and other planning resources from some of our other statewide partners that we have. And those are available to you as well. They have planning timelines too. We kind of joke, we say that planning for summer starts in September. Seems early, but it takes a lot to plan for summer. And then my final slide kind of here is really the who is within the system of support for expanded learning. So on this next slide, you'll see a map of California with all the different county offices of education that are funded with, by our system of support. And we are here as a resource to support you. There's many experts in this team, and they have lots of different resources, especially if you're new to summer. So just want to thank you again for having us here today.
Thank you, Jen. Such a pleasure to have you here and to share space with you. And these are just great resources, and those will again be shared in the chat. And just to uplift, we do have the Q&A feature. So any questions, please ask your questions there and we will answer them accordingly. So with our next presenter, I have the honor to present or introduce Alyssa Lee, who is a Senior Advisor of Community Engagement at California Volunteers, leading the Neighbor to Neighbor program to foster social connections across California neighborhoods. Previously, she directed health campaigns for Lady Gaga's Born This Way Foundation and the Clinton Foundation's Too Small to Fail initiative, and managed clinical strategy for programs addressing housing insecurity and chronic conditions and high-risk seniors. An occupational therapist by training, Alyssa is also a writer and author of 50 studies every occupational therapist should know. And she also earned her doctorate from USC and her bachelor's from UC Berkeley. Welcome, Alyssa.
Thanks so much, Sarah. And huge thank you to the California Department of Education and to all these wonderful presenters. What an incredible set of tools and ideas for supporting teachers, staff, and students this summer. My name is Alyssa, and I use she, her pronouns, and I have the privilege of leading the Neighbor to Neighbor initiative for California Volunteers, Office of the Governor. As Sarah shared, I'm a former occupational therapist, and one of the things that really drew me to this role was the opportunity to do something to create a program in California that would improve people's health through social connection. While a lot of today has been focused on student support, we're going to zoom over just a little bit and talk about something different, but just as essential, self and community care. Because as educators and school staff, we know you hold so much for so many. And this summer will help you'll have the chance to reconnect with yourself, with the people around you, and with the community that surrounds you. And so next slide. Before we dive in, if you don't mind taking a moment to share in the chat what's an act of kindness a neighbor has done for you, or that you've done for a neighbor, or that you've witnessed. We really like starting with this exercise on reflecting on our own neighbors, because as much as our work is public and professional, it's also deeply personal. And that's really at the heart of a lot of our community-centered work, recognizing that behind every policy, every program, every initiative are real people and real relationships. For me, when I first started this work, I knew maybe only a handful of my neighbors, so I figured I should just not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. And so my partner and I started a casual, easy monthly neighborhood social at the local restaurant and park, depending on the weather, every first Tuesday of the month. And before we met our neighbors, my husband would often say he would look at our neighborhood like a plant or a rock. It's kind of just there like furniture, like upon which our apartment rests, the way you would sit on a couch. And as I started to do this work, you start to see these little signs of people's lives. The cactuses that Ron dresses up every year for Christmas, the little fruit bushes with the little delicious treats that Doris grows in her front yard, the worn out path Daniel walks because of his disability through the front yard. It turns from furniture to a living ecosystem full of people living, and it really changed the way we look at our neighborhood forever. And Ron, it turns out, was a retired plumber. So when our sink broke, he actually came over to take a look at it just because we're neighbors. Our other neighbors, Doris's husband, Mike, had dementia. And as I'm a former OT, I was able to support him through their journey as patient and caregiver. I also knew how much social connection could bring him joy. Like every time we visited, he would light up, and Doris would try to put him down for a nap, and he would just come out and talk to us about art. And they would often bring us fruits and vegetables from their garden. And then actually when Mike passed away last year, we were able to be there for Doris that day, even before her daughter was able to fly back from England, and we could just really be there for each other. And so it's just really amazing to me in such like a short time, we would be able to create such a meaningful relationship, not just one that has obvious benefits like yummy fruits and vegetables and chats and caregiving, but simply because it makes where we live a place of resilience. And I'm reading some of the raking leaves, Jim raking leaves for his neighbor, David bringing trash cans. Kim grew up with a neighborhood of 15 kids. Wow, park with, yes, that's amazing. Wow, a little gift basket. That's awesome, Ryan. So these are some of the things that we're really aiming for statewide in California. If you could go to the next slide. And so we'll play a little bit clip about our work here, if it'll work.
Right now, we're in crisis. It's not just climate change, it's not just inequality, it's not just homelessness. There's something more fundamental happening. There's a crisis of trust. We've lost both trust in institutions, but we've also lost trust in each other. It's really this crisis of connection. How do we try to connect people in communities? How do we bring people together to rebuild trust in each other so we can actually start to tackle some of these big issues?
I think people are afraid and no one opens the door and everyone's isolated.
The country's so divided. The media also feeds off of that divisiveness, which is not helping. I think human beings basically do have a compassionate side. It just has to be opened up.
All up and down California, people are coming together and working together.
We lost 2/3 of our community in the Caldor fire, but it's still a beautiful community in a different way now.
We started driving around and all of our neighbors' homes were destroyed. My husband said, we need to do something.
I thought one thing that we can do is we can build them some sheds to put their belongings in. When I started building the sheds, I was just doing it on my own. When I got to the next one, I had some help with that one. People would volunteer to help. And we finally got to the last thing I did, the food bank shed, and there'd be 3 cars there with people wanting to help. The dream is to actually put these people in houses that we built.
I just wanted to meet my neighbors. It started out, we were just handing coffee out of the kitchen window. Just cranked open the window and put out a little sign at the end of the neighbor's driveway. Everyone meets at the coffee cart. It's so satisfying to watch people become friends through this environment. For the first time since we've been living here, maybe 25 years now, we now have neighbors waving at each other. Kids are meeting each other in the neighborhood.
With the 5 neighbors around us, we're regularly connecting with one another for whether it's a barbecue at somebody's house or whether we all chip in and get involved at the local park to help with the cleanup.
It is important to have a space where you can go and talk about this is happening in your neighborhood, this is what we can do to make our voice heard.
In our store, we've created a safe space where people can come together locally in their own neighborhood.
Everyone in this community comes to this post office and meets at the bulletin board.
It's a significant thing to have a place like that.
We have this sense of community helping community. Be prepared, understand the dangers, understand who your neighbors are and how you can help each other.
We're here to help people, and that's what we're going to do. And if it's educating or if it's assisting, we're the boots on the ground.
What we're trying to do is to actually invest in communities where neighbors can start to come together and solve problems themselves.
I think the world needs more support from that neighbor, from a friend, from a stranger.
You get to know people and you learn about their story. It really brings about that trust.
Just reach out to someone, or if you see someone doing something by themselves and you feel like maybe you could be of assistance, offer it.
It's the simplest things, and I think that a lot more people need to understand that just reach out to your neighbors, just say hi, say I'm here for you.
You can start with that person, and that person can help you connect with another person, and that's how you bring all the community together.
When we come together and we build together and we help each other, that's when we're our strongest.
To be there, not just for disasters, but for everyday life.
We know that neighborhoods that are connected, where people are looking out for each other, naturally become safer, happier, healthier places for people to live.
People are looking to care about their community and are looking to know each other. They just need that door opened.
Every person can make a difference in somebody's life.
We can build each other up, and we can build our communities up. But it needs to start neighbor to neighbor. And eventually, we're going to take advantage of our most powerful asset, and that's the 40 million people that call California home.
Thanks so much, Tiffany. If you don't mind going to the next slide. Yeah, so as many of you may know, the former Surgeon General recently highlighted an epidemic of loneliness, reporting that about half of the US population reports feeling lonely, with highest rates among young adults and with well-known risks to health and well-being. And so this is kind of our state solution to that. The next slide. With Neighbor to Neighbor, we first began in 2020, right in the heart of the pandemic. Governor Newsom, in partnership with Nextdoor and Department of Aging, issued a simple call to action to ask people to check in on their neighbors. Through that campaign, we were able to reach about 10 million Californians, about 25%. And all these stories started pouring in about people helping each other get groceries, run errands, get medications. And that spirit really didn't stop there. We saw them time and time again during the public safety power shutoffs and the multiple disasters. Most recently, we got to be on the ground in Los Angeles in January during the wildfires and really got to witness firsthand this power of mutual aid and neighbors helping neighbors. It's so critical to know your neighbors. In major disasters, OES reported that more than 9 out of 10 rescues come not from professional responders, but your neighbors. And so next slide. So when I first joined the team, we launched the 6-month listening and learning tour. We talked to researchers and governments and educators and state agencies. And I joke that I tried to talk to everyone because everyone is a neighbor. And what we heard was really clear. I think that people really do want to connect with their neighbors and the community that they live in. But oftentimes, many people feel out of practice and unsure where to start, especially after the pandemic. So our goals really became clear to help make knowing your neighbors a cultural norm in California. How do we bridge differences and re-engage through third places like parks and schools and libraries? And how do we use technology not to isolate, but to bring people back together in person? And so next slide. We talked to quite a few researchers and found from a couple of research studies that about knowing 6 of your neighbors maximizes your sense of health and well-being. And we know that generally knowing your neighbors helps in every way, from building civic engagement, more trust, disaster resiliency, both in we can prepare together, and in case of a disaster, I can call my upstairs neighbor and make sure he gets out safely, from economic prosperity and opportunities to daily peace of mind. And so, next slide. One simple way we're doing this is through a Meet Six Neighbors challenge. It's inspired by, health campaigns like 10,000 Steps a Day or 5 Fruits and Vegetables. We're encouraging people to connect with 6 of their neighbors. And if you are already connected to many neighbors, think of it as a chance to keep that momentum going. Maybe it's welcoming a new neighbor, checking in with someone you haven't seen in a while, or helping others in your community connect with one another. And so no matter where you're starting, this challenge is for everyone because every Californian is a neighbor, and when neighbors know each other, communities thrive. If you go to the next slide. This is our website. You can go to the meet6neighbors.com to sign up, receive stories and tips on how to meet your neighbors, join existing programs and activities. You can put it in the chat if you go to the next slide. So it was first launched last fall with our first partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, and our Chief Service Officer, Josh Friday. And since then, there's been a number of local governments passing resolutions. We've had, I think, approximately 11,000 people sign up to meet their neighbors, and over 15,000 people come join neighborhood events with the state, including back to school backpack giveaways, volunteer events, disaster preparedness workshops, and more. And so next slide. And so wanted to share a couple of the stories we've heard. It's just such a good feeling to be friendly with the people I can see every day or a few times a week, since my family and many friends are much further away. It's enriched my life to make me happier to know my neighbors. I would like to know more of them, so I'd gladly take the challenge to meet 6 more. Knowing my immediate neighbors makes me feel confident that I can reach out to people if there's a problem in the neighborhood, and to know that we are there for each other in case of a disaster. And then this one actually is from the campfire in 2018 in Paradise. When the fire broke out, I was able to go to my 2 elderly neighbors, call them by their names, and help them out of the fire. They trusted us because they knew us. Next slide, please. And so in our work, we've found a couple of different ways people can connect with their neighbors, recognizing that every community is different, but people have started by saying hi and starting conversations, leaving kind notes and cookies and native plants to exchange contact information, joining or organizing little get-togethers like disaster readiness workshops or walking groups or coffee shop or driveway or even park hangouts. And I think here's like a little video of one neighbor leaving the Meet 6 Neighbors flyer and short introductions with her daughter. If it'll play, if it's okay, if not. Yeah, and so there's like a lot of different opportunities. I think here there's also weekly Scrabble clubs happening, or at the local neighborhood shops. And one of my personal favorites is I have 2 bunches of bananas on my banana bush. When ripe, I would like to host a banana split party. Next slide. And so that's kind of our call to action to you this summer. We hope that the Meet 6 Neighbors Challenge can be a form of self-care and community care, because we know that social connection heals us. A simple hello can change someone's day and sometimes someone's life. And so we're really excited to share some of the resources that can make connecting even easier. We have this, I think, inspired by CD, we made a zine, as well as some printable flyers, activity cards to leave on a neighbor's door, or step-by-step event guides for hosting things like community cleanups, disaster preparedness workshops, or even a casual park hangout. Looking ahead, we're also excited to explore a Back to School Meet 6 Neighbors initiative for students to meet their peers. Imagine encouraging them to connect with 6 new peers from math class or the cafeteria or even the East Wing, the far side of campus, to help them build a more connected, resilient school community. Would love to hear your thoughts if you are interested or have any questions. And so, yeah, you can sign up there and we can send you some of these resources and connect in that way. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you all for all the work that you do every day to build strong, safe, connected communities, and to encourage you to take the Meet Six Neighbors Challenge and get out there in the sun and meet your neighbors. And you can, here's my email and webpage if you are interested in connecting.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. I have openly shared with you before when we've met a few times that I do not know 6 of my neighbors. And hearing the research and the importance of making that connection, you definitely are inspiring me to make it a priority. So thank you so much for sharing space today. Okay, we are going to go on to our next presenters. I have the honor and privilege of introducing 2 of our partners we work with daily. I'm going to start with Dr. Jim Cooler. He serves as a special consultant in the Office of School Health. That is the office with Chief Skaggs that I spoke about earlier at the California Department of Public Health. He serves at the California Department of Public Health Care Services as the Assistant Deputy Director, Behavioral Health, and the lead CalHOPE initiative during the public health emergency. He was the administrator for the California Friday Night Live Partnership and has been a champion for positive youth development and mentoring opportunities for more than 40 years. And I also would like to introduce who's co-presenting with him today is Dr. Aaron Knorr, and he is the Senior Director of Education and Training at UCAN. He is also an investigator with the VA Veterans Integrated Services Network, 20 mental illnesses research, education, and clinical center, and a licensed clinical psychologist. Prior to joining UCAN, he served as the Deputy Director of Education at the VA Puget Sound Healthcare System in Seattle, Washington. His clinical and academic areas of focus include post-traumatic stress disorders, anxiety, mood disorders, suicide, and the use of technology in behavioral health training and treatment. Dr. Knorr earned a BS in psychology from the University of Washington and a PhD in clinical psychology from Florida State University. He completed his doctoral internship and mental illness clinic research fellowship at VA Puget Sound. I cannot express enough to the people here today how much I work with these 2 humans, and we are constantly pushing each other and striving to make sure that we are providing enough resources, support, technical assistance to support you so you could do the work in helping our 6 million students. So if you 2 wouldn't mind coming and joining me, that'd be great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Carrie. Such a warm introduction for us. We're really excited to be here today. And I'm super excited to talk to you about Safe Spaces, Foundations of Trauma-Informed Practices for Educational and Care Settings. This training initiative is designed to support educators, early care providers, and other school staff in better understanding and responding to the effects of trauma and adversity on students' learning, development, and well-being. Next slide, please. So let's ground ourselves in why this matters. Stress and trauma can be profound and profoundly affect a child's body, brain development, behavior, and ability to learn. And this doesn't just apply to a small subset of students. These experiences are common, and we see them in every district, every classroom, every school. Next slide, please. You may already be familiar with the term adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. ACEs fall into 3 categories: abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction. These experiences are both widespread and highly impactful. In fact, 2/3 of adults in California report having experienced at least 1 ACE in their lifetime, and 1 in 5 adults report having experienced at least 4 or more ACEs. It's important to note that although they're not technically considered ACEs in the scientific literature, clearly other adversities that folks experience, such as racism and discrimination, also contribute similarly to negative outcomes. Next slide, please. So this begs the question of how is it that ACEs matter? And the reason why they matter is because of a condition called toxic stress. When these types of experiences go unbuffered by safe, stable, and nurturing relationships, they can lead to what we call toxic stress. Toxic stress isn't just feeling overwhelmed, it's a prolonged activation of the stress response system that impacts multiple biological systems, including our neurological systems, our immune systems, and our endocrine systems. In fact, people who experience 4 or more ACEs are also significantly more likely to die from 9 of the 10 leading causes of death here in the United States than those who have experienced no ACEs. However, while ACEs increase the risk of negative outcomes, they are not destiny. The impacts of ACEs and toxic stress can be prevented or reduced through evidence-based strategies that support physiological regulation and promote healing. And that is what the Safe Spaces Initiative is really all about. Next slide. So in schools specifically, the impact of toxic stress can be profound as well. We see it in the form of things like chronic absenteeism, frequent disciplinary referrals, incomplete homework, or even a student repeating a grade. Children experiencing toxic stress may also be more likely to be identified with behavioral or learning disabilities or receive special education services. But here's what's important. These aren't just problems to fix, these are signals. They're opportunities for us to create safety, connection, and healing for these students. Next slide, please. And that's where Safe Spaces comes in. This training was launched in July 2023 as an effort from the California Office of the Surgeon General and the CYBHI initiative, and had already reached thousands of educators and care providers across the state of California. The goal of this training is simple but powerful. Equip entire school communities with trauma-informed knowledge and tools to help kids heal from adversity. And with that, I'd like to go to the next slide, and we're going to show you a brief video from the folks who created the training in the first place about their vision.
Stress and trauma have a profound effect on young people's health, development, and ability to learn. That's why it's so important to create an environment for our children and youth to thrive. The educational and early care workforce play a vital role in creating these safe and nurturing spaces. Introducing Safe Spaces, a free online training from the California Surgeon General that provides education and early care personnel the tools they need to recognize and respond to stress and trauma in children and youth.
What the science clearly shows is that the antidote to toxic stress is safe, stable, and nurturing relationships and environments. And what that means is that everyone who interacts with young children has a really important opportunity to be that source of buffering.
Being trauma-informed means being aware that ACEs and toxic stress are common and that they can impact our mental and physical health, our behavior, and our overall well-being. The Safe Spaces curriculum provides that understanding, that awareness, but also concrete tools and strategies that we can use to help kids, families, and ourselves to address ACEs, toxic stress, and those everyday stressors that we all face.
Access Safe Spaces online. Choose your training module, each focused on a different age group, and gain the foundations of a trauma-informed practice within 2 hours.
When it comes to supporting kids experiencing ACEs and toxic stress, it just takes one caring adult to be the difference for that child.
So whether that person is the custodian, a paraprofessional, a bus driver, a teacher, an administrator, a counselor, we can each play a valuable role in supporting the students that we serve.
We have the opportunity to reimagine mental health and emotional well-being for all children and youth. Take the training at www.osg.ca.gov/safe spaces, because everyone needs a safe space.
All right, next slide, please. Okay, so as you heard in the video, this training is online and self-paced, which has the added benefit of being able to come back as many times as you need to get through it. You can work on it on your own time. It also has 3 different modules for different age groups. So there's a module for 0 to 5-year-olds, 5 to 12, and 12 to 18-year-olds. And although those modules contain very similar information in terms of education, they have unique tailored practice scenarios that help us understand how do we actually apply these principles with the students and children that we work with in these different age groups. Next slide, please. So one thing that we're super proud of with this training is our whole staff approach. This means that the training isn't just for administrators or classroom teachers, it's really for everyone. It's for cafeteria workers, custodial staff, volunteers, and everyone else who interacts with students in and outside of school settings. And the reason why we feel so passionate about this is that what we know is when the entire school community understands trauma-informed practices, we can create consistent, safe, and supportive environments for both our staff and students to thrive. Next slide, please. So this training was developed in deep partnership with field leaders and trusted organizations, including the California Surgeon General's Office, California Teachers Association, Cal Volunteers for 5 California, and many others. And we tested this training with more than 200 real users who were educators and care providers to help shape the final project to ensure that it is both practical and engaging, and also stands up to the scientific evidence so that everything that we're recommending is actually evidence-based. Next slide, please. So I do want to share a couple testimonials. This is feedback that we've gotten from real learners who have engaged with the training. So one person said, I just finished it and I'm blown away. I had many takeaways along with affirmations for our school model. I would love this project to continue and collaborate. Another testimonial was that they found this course to be insightful in more ways than they anticipated. I believe in my heart, this is part of a dire movement to support humanity in the shift from surviving to thriving authentically and in a healthy, visceral manner. And I've enjoyed the training and think it will be valuable to the field. So really the whole idea behind this is shifting the narrative from what's wrong with a student to what happened to them. And how can we understand them and their behavior in a way that allows us to help support them and help them heal rather than punishing them for the experiences that they've had in life. Next slide, please. And so finally, I just want to say that we at ACEs Aware and the Office of School Health, we're here to support you and figure out how to help every single one of you be the trusted adult that can help a student heal from the impacts of ACEs and toxic stress. If you have any questions about how we can help you facilitate the training either for yourself or for a broader community, please reach out to us and let us know. You can reach us in the chat at either of the email addresses provided. And then I also wanted to post a link directly to the training. You can find this training on the ACEs Aware Learning Center. When you sign, it's a free platform. You can sign up and there's over 100 hours of content around ACEs, toxic stress, and trauma-informed practices. And if you are someone who needs continuing education credits, we also provide those for most health professions. So just want to let you all know that we're here to support you and help you in any way we can get you and your community trained. And I will turn it over now to Jim. Thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you, Carrie, for the warm introduction. As we go to the next slide, I'd like you to take just a moment to stand up and stretch, because we've been sitting and we've met our neighbors with 6 presenters, but we haven't had a chance to really stretch a bit. So take a moment and let's think for just a second about where we started, thinking about what summer might mean for us. We talked about restoration, the reset, family, escape, the beach, a vacation dream trip. Cessna from Calusa would love to put you in the chat. What is that dream trip? And I think about my own last day of school as a child and how that was a tradition of going to the toy store with my mom and picking out one thing that I could enjoy over the summer. And I was a victim, yes, of advertising and chose the PF Flyers where I could run faster and jump higher. I don't know that that worked, but it was a great start to summer. And what I want you to do now is I want you to envision a new world, a school where every young person is seen and heard, where staff are supported to build positive relationships, where there's an opportunity now because of a piece of legislation, SB 153, where we can train our school staff to welcome our world, that we can change the world by changing the environment in a way where 100% of the teaching staff and 40% of the classified staff will have the opportunity and the requirement to go through a training. a 50-minute training that's been developed in cooperation with the Department of Education, with the UCAN team, the Department of Public Health, with the California Association of School Psychologists, Saluna, and other subject matter experts. In this short training that everyone will have the opportunity to take is Introduction to ACEs, how to identify a young person who's having a challenge, and how to refer them. A part of SB 153 is a model referral process that it's about to be released by the Department of Education for all schools to look at so that they can create their own referral process. So our hope is to increase the confidence that every staff person could be that caring adult in the life of a student in their school. So what if we followed the neighbor-to-neighbor model and every one of us knew at least 6 names of students or more? And if we help the students know the names of their other students, we could change the culture in a school, and that opens the door for other training opportunities. So we want to make sure that our training for the SB 153 isn't just a requirement of 1 hour, but it's an invitation to join a community of practice across the state of California where everyone on a campus feels inspired to be that one adult that will make a difference in the life of a student. So I'd like you to do a little exercise with me now and hold your right hand up in front of you and take your left index finger and put it on your pinky. And what I'd like you to do now is move it 5 times, counting each time. So pick any finger going directly to the finger next to it. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any sequence that you want. And my guess is that you can now take your thumb and your pinky out of it. And now I'd like you to move your finger 1 more time, and you can take your ring finger out of it. And 1 last time, and I think you find that all that is left is your index finger. The one thing that may be most important is you. The one thing that will make a difference is you as that caring adult in the life of young people. And we believe this training will be a wonderful opportunity to engage people in a way we've never had the opportunity to engage with them before, and invite them to take the Safe Spaces training. Invite them to be part of a Cal Hope Schools initiative, to be part of the Cal Hope Student Support Initiative, the Communities of Practice. So please enjoy your summer, choose that one thing that you will do, and know that you are the one who will make a difference for a young person. Carrie, thank you so much for the opportunity to be a part of this wonderful webinar today.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to work with you, Dr. Fuller. Thank you very much. And Dr. Noor, I greatly appreciate you both. I appreciate the entire panel. I appreciate the people that are attending today that made the choice of what is out there, what resources are available, what can I provide to our school communities. So thank you very much for sharing space. We have a webinar coming up in July where we'll send more information out. But like the common theme you're hearing today, remember, every child is one caring adult away from changing their narrative. Be that one caring adult. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.